Live in Los Angeles, it's The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Andy Reid in about 35, 40 minutes. My buddy Mark Sanchez, Fox Sports analyst. Decade in the NFL. He went to a very prominent school. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called USC. So let's just, don't you think it's kind of interesting, Mark? I gotta be honest, I love it. Don't you think it's kind of interesting that other unnamed conferences paid players forever, but now that it's legal...
No, they would never do that.
And that USC can legally pay players. Don't you sense a little bit? The greatest compliment is when somebody is a little fearful of you.
Oh, of course.
Don't you feel like college football? Miami and USC, everybody's a little... Those guys can... Go out and pay now, too? Wait a minute.
I just love the positive PR for USC on the show. It's I mean, are you a booster? A social booster?
First of all, certainly could be if I chose
heard that the
other day. Now, I will say this. I don't want to taunt Oklahoma because that's a great program. They're going to win a bunch of games. Not as many as USC, but nonetheless. Just to say this. Have you been around Lincoln Riley yet?
Oh, yeah.
Like that dude.
He's awesome. He's got something to him. He's got some juice to him. Like he's got a magnetic personality. You want to learn from him. You want to listen to him. Guys gravitate to him, and it's obvious. But it's just nice that the playing field's even, right? Like you can go compete with these SEC schools, and now we're on par with them. Although it's these collectives that are being created to make sure everybody gets a little piece of the action and all that. Like I don't know where this ever stops. Right, these bidding wars and stuff for players, and guaranteeing a specific amount of NIL money, and if I'm unhappy, I'm just going to hit the portal because I'm not guaranteed enough. And I don't know, it's the wild west right now. But at least SC's dishing out some cash and figuring it out.
NCAA is going to create a task force. I've said before, I do think you need guardrails. Even in the NFL, you have a trading deadline, and you have free agents. Period.
Like a window to transfer, or specific months, like the European soccer leagues or whatever. Like, January and June. Like, okay, this is when it happens, and it'd probably help the coaches too.
I'll throw this out to you. If I was the NCAA, I'd say you cannot transfer from Labor Day to the last regular season game.
Oh, okay.
You can't transfer. Let's not compromise the regular season.
Right.
If you want to leave for a bowl game, go for it. But does that seem fair to you?
That's pretty fair. I think that's fair because and the unfortunate thing too with this portal is you never get the Clay Matthews. You never get the guy who shows up, 190 pounds soaking wet, and then becomes this amazing Hall of Fame player in the course of his career at USC and then onto the NFL. You just never get that guy who grinds it out, who sits behind John David Booty and learns behind Matt Leinart. Now there's only one guy in the quarterback room. So
okay, here's my guardrails on the NIL. Because we're concerned about programs, and they are paying for high school players.
Exactly.
We don't want bidding wars. You cannot have an NIL deal until the very completion of your freshman year. So it's built for sophomores and juniors can make as much as you want. No college freshman is selling jerseys. Even Reggie Bush, as a freshman, was not selling them.
I don't know. He sold a couple.
But you can't be paid until you're out of high school, 1 year completed. I also think that would benefit everybody. The last thing you want to do is have a high school player making more than seniors.
And it's happening.
It's not great. I don't think it's great for locker room chemistry.
No,
okay, let's move to the end of the NFL. Mark Sanchez joining us. I defended Ryan Tannehill this week. I said he's a sneaky 34. He lost a home playoff game. They draft Malik Willis. I do not think, unlike linebackers or receivers, there's one starting quarterback.
Exactly right.
I do not believe it's your job as an employee to groom your replacement.
Correct.
And everybody pushed back on that.
No, it's not his job. But here's the problem. The question is such a loaded question. And you really can't answer it yes or no definitively. Like he would have been better served, in my opinion, if he'd never said yes or no. But he just said, hey, it's my job to go out there, win ball games. If I'm playing well and Malik is learning from me, then we're all winning here.
Good answer.
We're if he's learning from me, that means I'm doing something right on the field. That means we're winning ball games. But don't forget now, Ryan Tannehill put this team in that first place spot, right? He got him to the top seed without Henry. So he was hurt most of the season.
Yeah, he was.
So he played well. He just laid an egg in the playoff game at home, top seed, and they blew it. And he threw 3 picks, and he had a rough day at the office. So now there's like all this doubt and question. And then once he said those remarks, because if you say, no, it's not my job, now you're just a complete jerk. Wow, you're not about the team. You're not, and you become this villain. If you say yes, oh, I'm happy to help him, and I'll do whatever he needs, and it's all about the team, then you're a complete pushover. You're not competitive enough, and it's like you're passing the baton already, and you're lowering expectations. So what is it? You lose both ways, and it's really unfortunate. That question is silly, and I don't think anybody should have to answer it. You really don't. You could take the answer wherever you want and just say, hey, I got to go play well. That's my job. And, hopefully he can learn some things along the way, because that means I'm playing well.
Interesting. Arizona went out and got Hollywood Brown in a trade for Kyler, and the Eagles went out and got A.J. Brown for Jalen Hurts. How long, when you were with, let's Jets, and they either drafted, inherited, trade for a receiver?
Yeah, we got Braylon Edwards, we got Santonio.
How long should I expect Jalen and A.J. Brown, because he's a stud,
to have some chemistry?
Week 1,
I know
boom.
where you're going. Depends how good he is. And
Really?
Braylon and Tone were really good.
Really?
So it didn't, their catch radius was so big. Their closing speed on the ball, they had like an extra gear. They could look at the ball, and if you overthrew them, they could grind it out and hit that 5th gear, 6th gear, and then go catch the ball. Like dig a couple more steps and then go catch the ball. And I'd never experienced guys like that before. And so, a guy like A.J. Brown, just put it near him,
Right.
And he's that good. And it's going to make, Jalen Hurts look even better and boost his confidence, because he'll bail him out. He's going to bail him out with a couple great catches. Every game, that guy's capable of making a great catch. And that completion changes everything. 1 first down, 1 field goal, 1, moving the chains one time can change your entire season. Those things, it's that small, the margin for error, and he's going to have the benefit of a big catch radius, a big body guys who's got top end speed. That's going to be fun to watch.
So I'll throw this to you. I said earlier today that when you work with somebody really talented in any industry, you're not going to like everybody you work with.
Correct.
I've been in this business 25 years. Some people I don't connect with, but when they're really talented, my feeling was always, I'm going to do the best I can to make it work, because when they leave me, if they flourish with another talk show host and I couldn't work with them, I look bad.
Sure.
Like Cowherd can't even work. He's great. So my takeaway, Baker and OBJ, because another story came out today where it was uglier than people think, is that Baker, once Stafford worked with him, it really made Baker look like it hurt him. It hurt it. He's
Stafford's special, but okay.
Okay, and he is. But is that, and I guess the question moving forward, not to pick on Baker, is college, high school, or pro, was there ever a target with you where your personalities weren't great, it didn't work, but your thing was like, hey, man, receivers are big personalities.
Yeah.
I got to make it work. Did you have those?
I mean, I got along with pretty much everybody. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, but I mean, I don't know if, Braylon and I or Santonio and I listened to like the same music, or like we didn't always hang out at the same places and stuff. Like we weren't like best buds, but I mean, these guys are really good players. I'm going to make it work, whatever they need, If it's if they're picking the restaurant and that's not my favorite type of food, whatever. I don't care.
But that's something.
Yeah, I mean, the better the player is, you give them a little more leeway to be themselves, because they're going to perform, and whatever you got to do to get them to Sunday when they're that talented, it doesn't matter. Whatever you got to do, just get them to Sunday, and they're going to help your team. But it really is unfortunate. I don't know where Baker goes now. I really don't. There's like this cloud hanging over the poor guy. I'm like, I feel for him in a lot of ways. Like, he had a deal done, ready to go to Carolina, and then that fell through. Then they get the kid from Ole Miss, and
done.
That door's closed. People keep saying Seattle, and Seattle's been, vocal about, hey, we don't want him. I don't know where he goes. I really don't.
Well, and Mark, think about this. This was a bad crop of college quarterbacks.
Right.
Next year they project 6 first-round quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So if he's struggling now, those teams have already earmarked the draft.
Yeah, it doesn't get any prettier for him. I don't. It's really too bad too, because I mean he's oozing with talent.
He has talent.
First overall pick. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He took his team to a playoff game, won a playoff game. Like he's done some special stuff in this league, and last year he was just so banged up. You almost had to. He couldn't take himself out, but you almost had to protect him from himself because he's going to like grind it out so hard that it's almost a detriment to himself. You know what I mean?
Totally.
You literally have to drag that guy off the field. He's that competitive. And you just hope he gets somewhere to make it work. Even if he's got to go somewhere and be a backup for a year, I know that's not his personality, and I don't think obviously he's not going to like that, but I don't know if that's beneficial for the team because he's such a big personality, such a strong, presence.
He's a hard guy to be a backup.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Like Cam
just
was
like Cam.
that.
I was just going to say Cam Newton.
By the way, I always said with Tebow.
Because it comes with a lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Good, right, wrong, indifferent, good, bad. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just a lot. And it sends kind of mixed messages to the team. Like, who's really our guy?
So we just had the draft. Final question. We just had the draft. And, you young guys, you come in first camp. And once you were established as the starting quarterback for the Jets, how many practices did it take? Like camp. Mm-hmm. When you would look at a draft pick and either go to a buddy, that dude can't play, or I don't know, it doesn't.
Sometimes there's just one practice.
Whoa!
Just like you see him do something, and granted, certain guys couldn't even get lined up, but like you literally walk him to where he's supposed to go and tell him exactly what he's supposed to do. Because once he knows what to do and where to be, you're just like, whoa. You kind of look at the coaches like, did you see that? Because that was a bad throw, and he caught that ball. Did you catch it? Okay, good. We're good. But you know what's interesting is this week, you can't really be with the team. I remember getting drafted, and I was staying at the W, like in Times Square.
Yeah.
And we'd have to go up to, not NYU, what's the Ivy League school in Manhattan?
Oh, Columbia.
I went to Columbia to go throw with Leon Washington, Dustin Killer, Stuckey, and Jericho Cotry because I couldn't go to the facility. So, like, I'm a Jet, but I'm not because I can't really go there other than my press conference to hold up the jersey with Mr. Johnson. And then you got to leave the facility. You can't work out here. You can't throw here.
Because you didn't have your contract signed?
Yeah, like, it was some weird thing. You can't go there until rookie minicamp. And so I'm throwing with those guys for a week randomly, and those guys are driving from New Jersey all the way out there. And we'd work out, then I'd go back to the W in Times Square. And then we finally had rookie minicamp, and then you can actually get in the building. So this first week is really strange of being drafted. You're kind of floating. You're like an amoeba, and you don't have any real identity. Like, you're the quarterback, but you can't go in your own office.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
I want to bring this around back to USC. They're a topic. It's a transfer portal. So I try to explain this. We have 2 NFL teams now in the city. We didn't in your time.
Right.
But it's hard to, I try to explain this for years about Miami and USC are 2 of the only college football powers that are in pro sports towns.
Right.
And so when USC was rolling, and I do think Lincoln Riley thought about this, the Olympics are here. The NFL is here. It's big.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember during your USC career, like take people to maybe your first start or the first big game, maybe it was Ohio State, that just what the Coliseum is like?
Oh, that place rocks now. It is. Just walking down the tunnel, and I would always like put my hand against the stone wall as I'd walk through, and almost like, in a way, I was trying to like channel all the greatness that has been in that stadium because Coach Carroll would preach that to us, and he'd take us there at night on our visit. We played football with like all the recruits that were on their weekend visit with, it was like Deshaun Jackson and like all these other players. And we'd literally play a football game in the Coliseum at night, and he'd light up the torch and like bring everybody in tight and be like, do you realize what's going on here? Like Olympics. The Pope has spoken here. Like, there is greatness that's on this field right here where you're standing, and you're going to be a chapter in that. You get to have a part of this history, this rich tradition. that is USC, that is the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. It's big time, and you feel it, man. And Coach Carroll's big thing was like, we're going to let them in the tunnel, we're going to lock the damn door, and they don't get to leave till we beat their ass, and then we'll kick their sorry asses out down the road. But that was like, that was like his thing, and it was, you took it personal. Like, this is our home. Like, you don't mess with our spot. And to see 90,000 rocking like that, I can remember as a redshirt freshman, I would notice it more because when I was playing, you're so focused, you don't think about it. But the Fresno State game, that back and forth game, Reggie putting the ball behind his back on the sideline, that was like right where we were standing and watching all that unfold. And then the place just erupts. And, the fourth quarter when they light the torch, and it's the best. It's the best place in the world, man. It's so special. And I'm, grateful to play there.
All right, Mark Sanchez, Fox Sports NFL analyst. It's great seeing you. Yeah,
it's been a while.
Time out.
Good to see you, man.
You're calling the Stars Panthers USFL
Let's
game
go,
tonight.
baby. How about my man Paxton Lynch? It was good to see him play well last week. Got 16 points in the first quarter, then he sprained his ankle. So,
well, all these quarterbacks, I've seen all of them. They were all prominent college quarterbacks.
Correct.
So they can all play.
They can definitely play, but it was just good to see Paxton. Like, he looked like he was in command. He looked like he was, for more or less back. I remember him as a rookie in Denver. He was a great kid. We drafted him in Denver the year I was there, that Trevor Siemian started.
Yeah.
But it was fun to watch him, and we'll see what happens.
Great seeing you.
Yes, sir. You too.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.